Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Ili Farzana binti Ismail and I am from DBC Folly. So today I would like to share about one article that I have analyzed, and the article topic is Thinking Folly, and it is written by Eckhart Tolle. It is an article that discussing about the effect of thinking toward the human, and as stated by the author in this article, we are living in continuous conflict in our lives since we already became a slave of our own mind. However, even though as a normal human being, we cannot stop ourselves from thinking in our daily life. It is true for us not to overthink. So we go through to the source. So this article is from the best known book, The Power of Now. This book has become the #1 New York Times bestseller and have been translated into 33 languages. And based on my perspective, Toll is credible to write the topic. So this book, The Power of Now, was recommended by Oprah Winfrey in 2002 in her magazine. Beside of the writers writing this book, he also wrote another two famous books, which are Stillness Speaks and The New Earth Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. And he also a great speaker, since the famous Oprah Winfrey had invited him for her webinars, or known as seminar, or no, or actually it is a web seminar. So in the other hand, those actually not practicing any particular religion and not aligned with any specific tradition. Um, he actually helped many people to find inner peace and greatest fulfillment through his teaching. Before he started writing, he used to work with individuals and a small group of as a counselor and a spiritual teacher. This shows that he is actually credible to write about the article because of his wide experiences. And next, we go through the purpose. So the purpose of this article is actually to expose the reality of what thinking have to do to humans' mind by suggesting to the thinkers, psychologists, as well as youth that any form of overly thinking will limit their creativity, judgments, and thoughts, as the writer addressed that we are actually being controlled by our own mind. And I have found three perspectives from this article. And the first one is thinking will give a human their identity. However, it is said that based on study by Harvard, people who do a lot of thinking have lower level of protein in their brain that called rest. And studies also show that people who have a lower rest level in their brain tend to die sooner, and one who have the highest of than the one who have the higher level of rest, which means that people who think a lot is actually will tend to die sooner than um, people who think less. And as we know, people nowadays, like we are human, we live in problem, crisis, and conflict between human because it shows that actually we are being controlled by our mind, and our mind and what that is what thinking do to human. And next, the mind is essentially a survival machine for human to live in daily life. In spite of that, thinking too much can cause people to make a poor decision and judgment, which is actually it is harmful to human mental health. Overthinking also can mess up somebody's emotion and um, make them think um, and make them to unable thinking rationally. And it's stated in health, everyday health, healthy. Um, Self-thought about ourselves is actually bad, and thinking can cause us making our own self-thought, and it is actually bad for our mental health and can cause depression. uh, as stated in everyday health, healthy, self-thought and thinking negative about self constantly can cause despair, lower self-motivation and self-esteem. And the last one is mind really can store and analyze, but they cannot creative. However, thinking actually can stop people creativity and limit people freedom of thinking, where thinking put us to have a certain expectation towards something. So actually, when we are thinking, we put some barrier, we put some expectation and limitation that how it should be, how we should act, how um we should what is the best personality of people that we should have, like we should be number one, and we will think about what people think about us. And having such a really big brain sometimes trick us into thinking we should be thinking about everything we do. This extends to the idea of controlling everything we do too. But control in a real micromanaging style, the potential downside of this is revealed when we think about things too much. So, and for my positioning, first, human need to think less, as thinking can build a concrete wall of concept, words, judgment, and also definition that can limit all true relationship, because we create the illusion of separateness and prevent us to make a right decision. So, thinking too much on something can cause people to make poor decision and judgment. This is actually really harmful to human mental health, and it can mess up the human emotion and making them cannot think rationally. Um, an example of thinking can affect movement is when you're running or when you're walking. If you're thinking about, actually, if you just run or you just walk without thinking about it, you can do it like easily. But when you start think about it, you start to think about, oh, I have to walk properly, I have to run properly, and then you are tend to like tripping and fall and mess it up. And second, overthinking can lead to depression. Self-thought about ourselves is actually bad for our mental health and cause depression. Um, a psychologist from University of Stirling um, said, who was not involved in the latest study, sorry, Dr. Tracy Alloway said that some people have a tendency to brood too much, and this lead to a risk of depression. And the last one, people nowadays, which is the thinker, like every people is a thinker, live in problem, crisis, and conflict between themselves. This shows that mind is controlling human and what thinking do to human. Um, According to Dr. Smerling, overthinking can harm people. It can cause anxiety, and no trust in relationship with can ruin relationship. For example, if the thinkers start to create a negative scenario in their mind, especially for a woman, they love to start to make a worse scenario in their mind, and they can lose their trust, and they can fight with their partner. And next, beside thinking, make us feel less of freedom in our life. because uh, we always think that what should we wear to look good, what should we wear that what is good for us, and what will make people like when they see us, like they say, oh my god, she is so beautiful, and what is suitable for her, what is suitable for him, and this is can limit people happiness and cause inner crisis. And um, the impact is for the thinkers are this article will make them realize that thinking can limit their ability to be creative. They will be more creative and not having any limited judgment, thought and concept. Besides, they will make a better judgment as they are not overly thinking, which can help them to build a good relationship with the others. And for the impact for the psychologists, this kind of reader will aware that thinking can harm human mentality and physically. They will do more research on the relation between human mind and the effect of thinking to human. Psychologists also can help people to control their thinking problem, as we need to stop thinking too much to achieve a better life. And lastly, for the youth, the effect for the youth is um, likely to be to for they know better about their mind. They will not they will not involved in much life crisis and problem, and they may likely to be more creative since they will be thinking less, which can lead them to live a better life. And lastly, visual literacy. As you see, this is a picture of famous physics Albert Einstein that told us the scientists are thinking too much, which makes they are not creative. And thinking can cause limitation to our creativity, thoughts, and imagination, which can stop us to be better. Albert Einstein, that is known as a clown, said that imagination is essential more than the knowledge itself. And for that, thank you.